Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to News Today here on your Joy News channel on Multi TV. This bulletin is available on your Multi TV Digibox as well as your DSTV channel 421 and your Go TV channel 144. Coming up, Electoral Commission to consider concerns of opposing New Patriotic Party on electronic results transmission at next IPAC meeting. We hear from the Electoral Commission as well as the opposition NPP. Also ahead, new Vice Chancellor of the University of Ghana, Professor Ebenezer Oduro, charges government to come clean on the issue of utility payment at the university in order to bring closure to the issue. And Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology to review cut-off points for female applicants in the 2016-2017 academic year. We have details of these stories plus a lot more, including updates in the world of business and sports, as well as some international news and entertainment, all coming up in the next hour here on News Today. Stay with us. My name is Kwabna Chenche. Many thanks for joining us here on News Today. To our very first story, and the new Vice Chancellor of the University of Ghana, Professor Ebenezer Oduro, has charged government to make good on its promise to offset some loans acquired by the University of Ghana. Professor Oduro is also insisting government comes clean on the issue of utility payment at the university in order to bring closure to the issue. Now, this, he says, will help maintain stability and promote academic freedom of the university. Professor Oduro was speaking at an induction ceremony to swear him in as Vice Chancellor of the University of Ghana. John Mrs. Ernest Kojomenu was at the event and has come through with this report.
Professor Oduro takes over from Professor Ernest Aite as the 12th executive head of the University of Ghana. He holds a PhD in etymology and until his appointment was the provost of the College of Agric and Consumer Sciences of the University of Ghana. In his first address to the university as Vice Chancellor, Professor Ebenezer Oduro called for support from the university community to achieve the dream of becoming a world-class research-intensive university.
I would expect the cooperation of each proponent to lead implementation should management team accept such submissions. Colleagues, let us work together for the good of this university.
As part of his vision to achieve financial sustainability and foster good relationship with key stakeholders, Professor Oduro urged government to bring finality to the payment of utility bills and fulfill its promise of offsetting loans acquired by the university.
I will also work assiduously to see to the rapid resolution of outstanding issues with the government and related parties. This includes an early resolution of matters relating to loans contracted from a consortium of banks and recent developments regarding students' payment of utilities. I would want to use this occasion to humbly appeal to the government of Ghana to, as a matter of urgency, engage relevant stakeholders and bring finality to such matters in order to preserve the academic environment and avoid disruptions to the university's academic calendar.
Among his many visions is the desire to establish a foundation that is expected to generate an amount of $20 million in the next 5 years. Immediate past Vice Chancellor of the University of Ghana, Professor Ernest Aite, on his part, assured his successor of his utmost support while expressing confidence in his ability to deliver.
I wish you the very best and I assure you of my support. Thank you.
It remains to be seen the charted path of the university in the next 4 years under its new Vice Chancellor, following what many have described as a remarkable transformation seen by his predecessor over the past few years. From the University of Ghana, Ernest Kojomenu for Joy News.
Let's stay with tertiary education, and the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology will in the coming academic year review its cut-off point for female applicants opting for programs in science and mathematics. Now, this came up during the investiture of the new Vice Chancellor of the university. John Mrs. Kosidebra has more in the following report.
Ceremony According to the new Vice Chancellor, Professor Kwesi Obridanso, a special science, technology, engineering and mathematics for girls unit will be set up under the Vice Chancellor's office to design and implement a special mentorship program at the pre-tertiary levels nationwide.
Girls' interest in STEM education and careers. The STEM for Girls unit will again be headed by a female professor who will liaise with the relevant state departments and agencies in the Ministries of Education, Gender and Social Protection, Environment, Science and Technology, as well as the various national and international agencies to work to improve upon the underrepresentation of women in STEM education and careers within our country. As an immediate measure for this 2016-2017 academic year admissions, we will review the cutoff points for girls opting for programs in engineering, physics, mathematics, computer science, and other STEM programs where our statistics show low female patronage over the years.
Professor Obridanso, at the time of his appointment, was the chairman of the National Nuclear Research Institute and member of the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission. He has served a number of local and foreign universities and professional bodies as external examiner and external assessor. Professor Obridanso holds a PhD in environmental microbiology from Lancaster University, UK. He has to his credit a century of publications and conference papers. The Asantehene Otumfuo to the second charged the new Vice Chancellor to use the limited resources effectively.
My call to the new Vice Chancellor is that it is in the good management of our present or future resources that our effectiveness will be judged. Sure. This call is for us to overcome our difficulties by displaying selflessness and a high level of conscientiousness and skill and efficiency in managing our resources.
For Joy News, Kwesi Debra.
Now, the Electoral Commission has dismissed concerns of the opposition NPP about the transparency and legality of an electronic results transmission system set to be rolled out for the first time in this year's general elections. The NPP's campaign chairman, Peter McMahon, says the EC's refusal to effectively engage the various stakeholders on the new system suggests a deliberate attempt to shroud the process in secrecy. But speaking on News Desk earlier, Mr. McMahon said the Electoral Commission needs to be more transparent in its dealings if it wants to earn the trust of stakeholders ahead of the general elections.
Got it wrong. I am looking for 5 main values from the Commission. The values of openness and transparency, values of inclusiveness, values of accuracy, values of professionalism, values of impartiality, and values of independence. These are the key values that you expect from an effective and efficient electoral management body. Anything short of that, forget it. I saw an advertisement in the Daily Graphic about a tender for electronic transmission of signal. Thereafter, there was an IPAC meeting, and at the meeting, under the agenda item, other matters, I raised my hand and asked a question about the advert and what it entails. That means, in effect, I asked for better and further particulars of the e-transmission. And I was told, we will write it and give you the details. The details never came. The letter never came. Then there was another opportunity at the subsidiary legislation committee meeting to amend the existing CI 75, the law on election, for the upcoming election. Then I realized as we were going through the amendment that there was also nothing in the law on electronic transmission. So there and there, I also asked the EC representatives there that I saw your advert some time back on electronic transmission. You are making these laws. You are making changes to the existing law. You are amending the law. But I haven't seen anything in the law, no regulation regarding the electronic transmission. I was brushed off. Okay? So I now came to the conclusion that I should read this matter to the members of the fourth realm, your good self, and the public. And I'm happy that when I did that, at least the EC has responded. Even yesterday, as the debate was going on, DPP came to me that they also sent a letter on similar topic, e-transmission, to the EC in April, and they have not responded. So is the EC doing these things in the dark? You tell me there is a reform committee. It's neither here nor there, because that reform committee's item, the one on electronic transmission, it's not there, and it has never been tabled anywhere in IPAC meeting. I am saying that on authority.
But the Electoral Commission maintains the desire to introduce the electronic results transmission system for the 2016 general elections is to allow for transparency in the collation and dissemination of election results. PRO for the Commission, Eric Jakwasu, in a response to concerns by Mr. McMenu, said the NPP is at liberty to raise their concerns on the system at the next IPAC meeting for action to be taken.
It's the outcome of a decision made by the Electoral Reform Committee, where all the parties, including the largest opposition party, is represented, right? Then it's brought to the IPAC level, where all the parties there, including the main opposition party, have bought into it. So step one, if at this point in time, that one party or the other has some reservation about this, okay, or seek further clarification, it's a matter of bringing it back to the same forum for all the stakeholders there involved to consider, okay, and find a way forward. This is something that has been discussed. It has been brought there far back in time, and then the process is ongoing. If there are any discussions concerning this particular issue, I'm saying that the proper forum to bring it up is the IPAC level. This is a recommendation that the Electoral Reform Committee has brought. IPAC made up of 26 political parties, with each represented by 3 people at any of its deliberations, has bought into, and the Electoral Commission is mandated to move ahead with it.
Right.
So democratically, if somebody has any reservation, you go back to the same forum and get the people involved to trash it out. This it should not be handled as if the Electoral Commission is trusting this down the throat of people who don't want it in the first place, because this is coming down from the stakeholders, it's coming down from the Electoral Reform Committee through the IPAC, and the Electoral Commission is only mandated to roll it out.
Meanwhile, the Coalition of Election Observers, CODEO, has hailed a move by the Electoral Commission to electronically transmit results of the 2016 elections, describing it as one that is long overdue. Member of CODEO, John Lavi, tells Joy News the CSO is confident the move will bring to an end the many challenges a section of Ghanaians have with the conduct of elections in the country.
This electronic transmission of results of polling station results and all has already been going on. If not officially, it has been. If I use the press people during every election, we have set up a press center and you have collected your results using the electronic system. Smartphones have sent you results and you have collected your results. In fact, the CODEO itself, we have done something similar. And even though it's not official, we know that is the fastest way to know that, to have a sense of the results at the end of the day. In fact, if you follow that type of system where it is fast, after a few hours after the close of polls, it's likely to have a fair idea as to how the results are going. So we are supposed to be going forward with our electoral system. With the progress that is being made in communication technology, I think we are supposed to also embrace that and then move forward. I think we may make mistakes on the way. When we do, we correct. But to say that no, it can't be done, we go back several centuries back, that to me is not the best way to go.
Okay. Stop the activism and represent the entire nation. This is the advice of the Executive Director of the Institute for Democratic Governance, Dr. Emmanuel Akote, to some ministers of state who have appended their signatures to a petition calling on the president to grant amnesty to the Muntie Three who have been incarcerated. Now, as you may know, some persons who disagree with the Supreme Court ruling are gathering signatures in a petition asking the president to invoke his prerogative of mercy. But Dr. Akote has expressed doubt over the possibility of the president to heed to their plea and has instead called on the president to defend the rule of law.
One of the first responsibilities of the president is to uphold the rule of law and defend and protect it at all times. I think that the president would do the right thing. He would, I'm sure, would support the enforcement of the rule of law and would also protect the mandates of the different organs of the state, because that is also part of his responsibility. I don't know the precedents whereby Supreme Courts decide and immediately the president also interferes. And I'm not sure the president would do that, because it would undermine our democracy. It would expose us to ridicule of the worst kind. I do not think that the Supreme Court decision actually erodes press freedom. I think we are in a crucial phase of our democratic development. The judges have acted in the national interest. The president is there to defend the national interest. I think the ministers, like the president, must also stop activism and represent the entire nation. I think the president might speak soon to silence everybody, and I am sure that he would uphold the rule of law.
You're watching news today here on the Joy News channel on Multi TV. Time now for us to take a break. When we come back, we'll bring you some more stories, including the very interesting story of SADA. Stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us here on News Today. To some more stories now. And results from a recent Institute of Economic Affairs study on corruption and its root causes has revealed that Ghanaians regard low salaries as the third leading factor for corruption. This follows another factor captured as get-rich-quick schemes, greed and selfishness and in the study. Now, however, a senior adjunct fellow at the IEA, Professor Achuayi, has disputed this assertion. According to him, with the implementation of the single spine salary structure, salaries have increased across the board, but that does not in any way suggest that corruption in the country has gone down. Professor Achuayi was speaking at a roundtable discussion organized by the IEA on the root causes of corruption in the country. My colleague Jennifer Kioma joins me now on phone with some more on that. So, Jennifer, first of all, do we know what informed this study in the first place?
Well, according to the professor, there had been several studies into the root causes of corruption in the late 70s, and they realized they needed to revise their studies. Thus, they did a nationwide study across the 10 regions, the composition of 60% women and 40% men, and they asked them the leading factors of corruption, what they perceived to be the leading factors of corruption, and the top three, as you mentioned, were the need for people to get rich quickly, greed and selfishness, and the third being low salaries. And this is, it's one of those reasons that people commonly also call a petty or survival corruption, where public service workers use their post, or it's assumed that public service workers use their post in order to get bribes or gifts to augment their low salaries. However, the senior adjunct fellow at the IEA has refuted this claim, saying that because the single spine salary structure was implemented as far back as 2010 and salaries have increased above board, there is no real reason for people to use the excuse of petty or survival corruption as a reason why people should still engage in corrupt activities.
Right. Jennifer, many thanks for that update, and we'll be bringing you some more on that very story in subsequent bulletins right here on the Joy News channel on Multi TV. Away from that now, let's talk about the Savannah Accelerated Development Authority, which we're told may be striving to repair its dented image due to the mismanagement scandal that rocked it a few years ago. But that hasn't stopped it from seeking to make an impact in the lives of the people in its catchment area. Now, through the Millennium Villages project, SADA is changing the lives of people in the Mamprogu Moeduri district of the northern region. Upper East correspondent Albert Toy reports on the handover of a clinic, a modern basic school, and a small town water system, all at Kunkwa in the Mamprogu Moeduri district.
Today, these happy children at the Kunkwa Primary School study in a modern school building with ancillary facilities. But this wasn't the case before. This building did not exist, and there were just a few untrained teachers in the area. Mampurugu Muaduri District Director of Education, Abu Mohammed Baba, says the intervention of the SADA Millennium Villages project has greatly improved school enrollment.
So SADA has given all the classes all the teaching learning materials that they need, right from KG to P6. And you can even see up to other recreational activities like playfields. On the part of sanitation, we have toilets. And maybe there's some water system here that may be commissioned in some few hours' time. So
in addition to tackling the issue of access to education, the SADA Millennium Villages project put up a clinic at Kunkwa to provide access to healthcare services for the people. Hitherto, the people had to travel miles to Waliwali in the West Mamprusi district to access healthcare.
In terms of human resource, we contracted midwives and we were paying them when midwives refused postings here. And then they also introduced allowance package for staff, which can...
That is after putting up the structure and equipping it?
After and equipping it. Okay. They have also provided us with beds, mattresses, gas cylinder, and then burners. They also registered pregnant women and all children under 5.
There is, however, lack of accommodation for the health officials stationed to work at this health facility. Some of them reside in rooms that were meant to be offices inside the health center. They prepare their meals in the same rooms and sometimes have to bear the smell of drugs and other unpleasant smells coming from the wards.
We are living here, but it's not comfortable. At times, this is a ward and this is my room. At times, you'll be sleeping here, a patient will be crying and shouting. You can't sleep. At times, the person will shit. It will be smelling all over. At times, they vomit and the whole place will be smelling. Because there's no accommodation, this is the only accommodation for us.
A small town water system has also been put up by the SADA Millennium Villages project to give the people of Mampurugu Muaduri access to portable drinking water. Residents are generally impressed with the interventions by SADA MVP.
We can't hide what SADA MVP has done for us in this community. As I can witness, some years back, you can go to the boreholes, you see that people have queued for about 24 hours before they can get water to fetch. From URC coming here, it was very poor, but now, even though it's not that perfect, but it's good compared to the previous one.
Before 2012, or let's say 2012, by then the water side were finding it difficult to get good water or potable water. But now that SADA MVP has come, they have been able to give us potable water. So we thank them for what they have done for us, and we'll never forget of what they have done. We say, God bless them.
The Savannah Accelerated Development Authority's Millennium Villages Project, SADA MVP, was established in 2012 in parts of the West Mamprusi, Mampurugu Muaduri, and Busa districts of the Northern and Upper East regions, with support from the Savannah Accelerated Development Authority, SADA, and funding from the Department for International Development of the United Kingdom. Albert Sorry, Joy News, Mampurugu Muaduri.
Now, the 2016 second quarter edition of Love FM's Blood Donation Exercise in Kumasi attracted hundreds of regular and first-time donors on Saturday. Members of the Ahmadiyya Youth Association participated as a group to contribute to replenishing stock at the hospitals. Join Mrs. Kwesi Debra has more.
As expected, blood donors kept faith with Love FM, which has since its inception spearheaded mobilization of the life-saving commodity. Some of the participants shared their experience.
Piasa yes mama ne ka chem se me nko na me nko problem la no me bo me empemoja but na yenya bi enti omo abo me nam de na medical donate enti omo bo me ma metimi e bo modene a enya bi di ma nipa na ma onya.
You don't know when you need it or when a relative would need it some time to come. That's why I donate. So I donate it from within. It's not just people are doing it, so I come in to do them. And actually this is my 5th time.
Muslim individuals constitute a major chunk of voluntary donors in Kumasi. The Ahmadiyya Youth Association of Ghana took it a step further this time round to mobilize its members to join the exercise in a group. Regional President Hanif Bipwa says donating blood is a godly act for all believers.
Is that we think one half of faith is making sure that you show some love to your nation and the people you coexist with. And for blood donation, you are not only showing love to the nation and the people you coexist with, but you are also saving lives, which according to the Holy Quran, which states that when you save one life, it's as if you've saved the whole of humanity. So what we are doing, we don't see it as a favor, we see it as a necessary part of our faith. So blood donation is something we do frequently. And for me personally, this is my 9th blood donation through the Hudamul Ahmadiyya. There are other people.
Events and Promotions Executive at Multimedia Group Limited, Kumasi, Luis Lames, lauded donors for the turnout.
Grateful to our sponsors for giving us the support we needed and to the donors for coming in their numbers to donate to save lives. I think that this is the second in the year. We have 3 of these, and the bigger one will be crowned, or we'll be having the bigger one in December, and we're inviting all donors to come in their numbers, you know.
For Joy News, Kwesi Debra.
You're still watching News Today here on your Joy News channel on Multi TV, also available on your Go TV channel 144 and your DSTV channel 421. Time for another break here on News Today. When we come back, we'll bring you updates in the world of business and sports. Stay with us.
Now, time for some updates in business. In our first story, 2 firms are in the process of securing a contract for the production of liquefied natural gas, or LNG, to support power generation in the country. This comes as government explores the use of LNG as a cheaper alternative source of thermal energy. Government continues to embrace independent power producers for the energy industry to mitigate the impact of the current power crisis, especially on the business in the country. Electoral has more in this report.
West Africa Gas Limited, jointly owned by Sahara Energy Resources Group and Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, as well as Quantum Power Ghana Gas, a subsidiary of Quantum Power Company, are the 2 firms that have submitted proposals to the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority to lift liquefied natural gas from the port. Some industry players say it is more cost-effective and much cleaner than light crude oil being used to generate power in the country. Project engineer at the GPHA, Komnofori, talks about how feasible such a project will be in Ghana.
That way, LNG is gas, natural gas for energy production and for other domestic use. But it requires a lot of infrastructure. It doesn't just... You can't really put LNG into an existing facility unless you really want to customize the facility to meet an LNG, especially when you consider the components in LNG. You cannot use LNG as a product right from the drilling point. You have to regasify it before you can use it as gas. So quite some amount of infrastructure is required to do that.
Any company hoping to lift liquefied natural gas would require between 18 to 24 months to complete the process. Quantum Power Ghana Gas is currently working to install a floating storage and regasification unit, also known as FSRU, 13 kilometers offshore Tema, and West Africa Gas Limited at the harbour. Mr. Ofori hints of which of these firms is close to securing liquefied natural gas.
For Quantum, I think Quantum would have a chance, but I'm still yet to find out how far their real situation is from the plan situation. Working offshore gives you some more degrees of freedom. You know what to do, you know what the risks are out there, and you want to live with it. If you want to do it on land, as it were in the port, in our case here too, you would have known what the risk levels are and what to do. So if Quantum really wants, because there are mooring points offshore where people are bringing in crude petroleum products and pumping underwater to the land, and it's been going pretty well. So Quantum still has a chance of doing well if they really want to put up that challenge.
Okay, how about the West Africa Gas Limited?
That, I'm sorry, not very close. Not very close. If they want to do that in Temaport, nothing has started. I mean, we've not seen designs, we've not seen the details yet. We have a concept. We are open to discuss and go ahead with the concept, but those kind of marine infrastructure work take a lot of dedicated time.
Quantum Power Ghana Gas hopes to deliver liquefied natural gas by the middle of next year. For business owners, they can only hope the clock speeds up to save them from the huge losses they're incurring as a result of the current power crisis.
Now, the Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Dr. Edu Anani Entry, has confirmed the Commission is ready to fight acts of fraud and complex illegal financial transactions. He said the Commission will embark on financial education for investors and the public to help reduce some of these vices. Speaking with Joy Business at the 11th Audit Risk and Governance Conference in Accra, Dr. Anani Entry acknowledged capacity challenges but said with this continuous development, complex product and transactions can be regulated.
The regulator must be on top because if the promoters, those who are bringing the products, they will have some terms, analyzing, researching before they bring out the product. And once they brought the product, you should be able to understand it. So you always have to be on top of what you are doing. If you don't understand the product, how can you approve it and regulate it? So the challenge is to constantly develop the capacity of the regulator so that all new products, especially complex ones that are coming, the regulator will be on top of it. We try as much as we can to be on top of the game. And as I said, product development comes from the operators. But once they bring the products, you must study and understand. So any new products that comes to the market, the regulator must be able to understand. And therefore, we constantly develop our capacity. Sometimes even products that have not been introduced in the country, you start looking at it and training your people, knowing that in future some of these products are going to come to the market. So you have to make sure that you are always on top to be able to understand some of these products. When we see people having done what is wrong, we punish them. Punishments, sometimes people are cautioned, sometimes people's licenses are suspended. We have had some prosecutions before, but prosecutions take time. In our new law, we are also trying to look at the penalties for wrongdoing, which when you put it in terms of administrative penalty, it works better than maybe prosecuting. So we think that if this new law is finally given assent by the president and most of the penalties are now in administrative penalty units, it will strengthen the regulators' hand in making sure that people are punished. But we still punish people. If you look at our newsletter, you see a lot of penalties that every quarter the SEC apply on people who have done one or two things against the law.
So that will be it for your business, but we have a lot more business for you between 1 and 1:30 on the marketplace. Today, we are looking at the president's statement to the effect that aviation fuel possibly can be reduced by 20%. What are the implications? Are you going to see airfares actually go down? And also, why is it that our pumps and fuel stations aren't reducing as global market prices also keep going down? Talking about crude oil price. All these and more we have for you on the marketplace. My name is John Kojamo. Coming up next is your sports.
Hello Hello there, good afternoon. My name is Baba Tando. This is the sports segment on News Today. Let's get talking right here, right now. And Kumasi Asante Kotoko are on the verge of drafting Malik Jaber into their technical department as they look to solidify that aspect of the club after a series of poor results in the second round of the Ghana Premier League. Now, Malik Jaber, who formerly captained and coached the Porcupine Warriors, currently manages their youth side. Let's get further insight into this issue with Operations Manager of Asante Kotoko, Mr. George Kennedy. Hello, sir. Good afternoon to you. It's such a shame. We're going to reach him back to get details of Kotoko's, purported move to have Malik Jaber join their technical department. But let's move on. And Ghana's under-17 side, Ghana's under-17 female side, the Black Maidens, have had a major setback in their preparations ahead of their FIFA under-17 Women's World Cup in Jordan in September this year. Now, the team, who were in residential camping at the Ghana Soccer Center of Excellence in Pram Pram, were made to leave because there were no funds for their upkeep and preparations. This is a major setback as the team has barely 2 months to the competition scheduled to take place in Jordan from September 30 to October 21. Government, through the Sports Ministry, must provide funds for national teams' preparations ahead of major tournaments, but the Ghana Football Association usually pre-finances when need arises. Now, the uneasy calm between the FA and the Sports Ministry could be the reason for this major setback. Nana Odru Safo is a member of the Black Maidens Management Committee.
Expect the team to go home after playing the last match at Accra Sports Stadium. The minister was there and he said to collaborate with the management and then get the bonuses for the girls, which till now have not been done. Then we asked them to go home because the money is due you, are always due you. You can get it at any time. And we have to do the program for the coach brought a program for the tournament, and they were supposed to start camping on somewhere in June, but the FA said the time was too long. So we should make it July because we're also looking at financial implications. Then in July, the team came to camp. They came on Wednesday, Thursday, and they have to leave on Friday. And then leaving on Friday means they have to go home, sit down, so the ministry get money to do the funding before they come back to the camp.
Let's talk some entertainment now. It's 3 days to go to the 2016 Airtel Adom Praise, and Francis Amu is all geared up for this event. Now, this is what you should expect.
I can't wait to Friday to come. I can't wait to 5 o'clock even to come. I'm so excited. I'm so happy to be there to worship the Lord with the whole Ghana, Africa, wherever you are coming from. Please make sure you are getting your ticket. The ticket is only 50 Ghana and 80 Ghana cedis. I want to take this opportunity to invite you personally. My name is Francis Amo. Then go bad boy. And when you come, we are going to sing 84 Semina Chanesta Wayemuye Edoso. Then my worship will go like this. One kanuye Eradinia waya mami media meda wasi dia waya mami meda wasi. But when we enter the praise, that you hear I can mebula hallelujah bum 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 chum 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 chum. I'm going for rehearsal. We'll meet there.
So that'll be all for the news this afternoon on your Joy News channel here on Multi TV. Was also available on your Go TV channel 144 and your DSTV channel 421. My name is Kwabna Chenche Hinibot. Remember, there's more news when you log on to www.myjoyonline.com. The marketplace comes up next with John Kujamwako. Many thanks for your company.